We on? We're in. We're in it. We're going.
Yeah. My mom used to take us to the movies a lot because it was the cheapest thing and we didn't have money. And we always went to the second run theaters, like the dollar theaters. And that's where I saw a lot of movies. And I think there's something that we've lost by not having those second run theaters where you can catch like I saw the first Austin Powers. Like no one saw that in the theater. Yeah, that was a big video and DVD hit. But no one saw it in the theater. I happened to. I saw Kingpin in the theater. Like I saw all these comedies because my mom during the summer, she was a teacher. She'd just take me and my friends and like, what do you guys want to go see? You want to go see Major Payne? You want to go see Encino Man again? Go.
No.
It's cheaper than taking you somewhere else. Are you dogging Encino Man? How dare you?
I mean, I have problems with it, but that's okay. It can be a thing. Encino Man's fine. And it's no Biodome, but it's okay.
Oh, you're backwards. And to be honest, this is the last I'll say about Major Payne. My mom to this day will still do the you want me to give you something to take your mind off that pain.
Oh yeah.
She quotes it to this day. But
and what did she give you? What did she give you? Did she break?
Nothing. But it's a quote that she likes. She was a big comedy person. My dad only watched news, sports, and then sci-fi. So.
Oh yeah. Wow. Well, let's get this started properly. Let's introduce our guest. Let's get into the show. Mad Men Movies is the podcast that we're on. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a very special of special treats for you today. We have an icon of movie history sitting here with us on, I'm going to call it the Zoom, even though we're not on Zoom. That's okay. He started off his career as Cadet Alex Stone in a little movie you might have heard of. Again, Major Payne. From there, he has continued starring in movies and TV. Did a movie with his brother or two. I look forward to talking to you about working with your brother. And now he has a new movie that he wrote and directed called Bittersweet. Available to buy on Amazon. Don't be cheap. Don't rent it. Buy it right now.
I bought it on
everyone.
I bought it
there
on
you
Apple.
go.
Everyone. It's also on Tubi, by the way. So
And Tubi, Stephen Martini, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here.
That's actually something I want to talk to you about a little bit later about the whole distribution, indie distribution part of it, and see what your opinion on where people watch it, like what you like best. Because having just gone through it, I know where it's better. Yeah, I know. So I watched.
What should we say? Is it like handing your baby to Dr. Kevorkian, or is it like? Hold on.
Have you?
Maybe it's like those photos where you dig your own grave and then they make you go in it and you just throw your movie and you pile dirt on it.
I was feeling pretty good about the numbers I saw at first with mine, and then I sat down and I did the math on if every single person who has streamed this, if they had bought a DVD, how much money I would have made. And I swear to God, I almost threw up because I'm because at this point, personally, like, okay, so I did a digital release and then they said, hey, do you want to do DVDs and like Walmart and stuff? I'm like, sure. And then they didn't give me the chance to provide the ISO for the DVD. So they did it themselves. And I got charged for it, and now I owe them money. But if everyone had bought a DVD, I would literally be a multimillionaire. And I'm incredibly depressed. But then again, people wouldn't have seen it. But we'll get to that because I'm really curious to get your thoughts on that. But I want to say I watched Bittersweet. I really enjoyed it. My first question is, up top, you say based on real events. Please explain that.
Well, this is based on something that happened to me. Me and my now she's my wife.
Congrats.
Thank you. But in the beginning of our relationship, we were things are different in the beginning of the relationship, and things are a little bit spicier, when especially when you're about to have a baby, there's a new baby in the house and everything. And I had just kind of been I found out that there was the autism in my family, and the spectrum. So we went to did some tests, and we found out that once one of my kids was born on the spectrum, and I have a niece too on the spectrum, and then I discovered that I'm also on the spectrum, and it made a lot of the spiciness of our relationship make more sense, and but still, we had these annoying neighbors who used to, for various reasons, come over our house, including an annoying French neighbor who used to constantly hit on my wife, and so one day the cops knocked on our door after her and I had been having a makeup session of
Nice.
what do they say? Making up is better than breaking up, because and so anyway, so the cops were at our door, and what you see in the movie is a dramatic representation of basically what happened, and it was very clear to me, like, oh my God, these guys they're not understanding her, and they're kind of laughing at her and me, and I was brought into this whole new world of, holy shit, this is like a thing that happens to people, And so we happened to open this case with this DCFS, right, which is the Department of Child and Family Services, and I learned about this whole new world of people who are caught up in this system. And now, in our case, obviously, like in the film, it's very clearly a misunderstanding, a mishap. It's played comedically, because at the time when it was happening to me, my writer brain immediately left my body and hovered above the cop car and saw these cops just fucking ragging on me. And I was like,
it's like, oh, I got to write that down. That's going to be good for later.
And honestly, you have that ability. If it wasn't so scary and tragic, it was just fucking hilarious. It was just like I was just dying inside while I was dying on the outside, So anyway, I met all these social workers, and I got into this whole new world, and they would come over our house and knock on her doors and do these checks, and it was very clear in our situation. The social workers were very nice, and and the judge was very understanding, and our situation was settled very quickly. It was like, okay, this is it's a mistake, but still you have to stay in the system. And through that, I was meeting all of these other families who were in the system as well, and a lot of them had way more severe cases, and some of them were, it was kind of scary what people were going through. And I just kept, my brain doesn't stop when I see a way into a story. I'm like, these people are knocking on my door and I can't even get into my house. And I just kept saying, this story hasn't been told, especially from, the male point of view, sure. It's usually told from the male point of view is the bad guy, especially if you did a straight down the middle Lifetime movie Hallmark version of this, it would be a totally different.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I knew that this was a story I could tell myself with my wife. We can shoot it in our house. As an independent filmmaker, I'm like, this thing can be contained. It's all about knocking on doors, sitting in courtrooms and stuff. And I just started to see the whole movie, and I said, it felt important to me. It felt like nobody's telling these stories. And, this kind of happened. This is, the culture has settled down now more. So people are way more open to, to these kind of things. So I kind of felt like this story was a little bit ahead of the curve, and I was like, okay, I just have to make sure I finish it. These things take forever. And so, finally it's able to come out now, and I think people can appreciate it for what it is,
Well, first of all, I'm glad to hear that you weren't railroaded like your character, because, man, it was tough to watch. And like for me, like my favorite types of villains and the stories that really get me are when people get railroaded by the system, like that one. So I love that. But yeah, how long did this take you from the writing process until you were happy to get it out the door?
Right. So that's the big question, right?
That is true.
That's the big question. So like I would say, maybe around I started the seed of the idea when all this when the thing actually happened to us, and I was like, oh, this is a movie, and you sit in front of the judge and you're like, well, it's actually a play. You could write a play and sit in front of the judge, and it's very theatrical, And so during that, and that was probably started like, 2015, 2016, almost 10 years ago, the writing. And writing, takes time, as you guys know. So it probably took like another year, 2 years of really getting the script down. As it takes time. I don't care what anybody says. It's just, and then we were, and then I had, if you want to get into the whole thing, is I sent it to a producer who worked at Netflix, and they had a deal there, and they wanted to take it to Netflix. And I was getting good feedback on the script, and I'm like, okay, this is, I was right. I know what I'm talking about. It's a good story. And, once it became going to Netflix and doing all that, it was very clear. I've been around the block a few times, so it was very clear, like, okay, somebody else is going to direct it. Somebody else is going to act in it. Then they're all going to rewrite it. And, and all of this personal experience that I had it's going to be flatlined. It's going to be lost. And I didn't want that to happen to this. And I thought I wrote a movie. I thought I could shoot it in my house for $100,000. I've been around the block enough to know I think I can pull that off. I was going to shoot it on an iPhone. My wife was going to produce it, which she did and everything. And you know how movies go.
It wasn't just a smooth, easy process.
Well, you're talking to a guy who got 70% of his movie finished and was headed to Eastern Kentucky to finish it the day before, the day after. I was set to head out on the 15th of March of 2020. And the world locked down on March 14th. And I had to cancel it. And I basically sat with this movie that was over 3/4 finished for a year. Because like the youngest person in the cast was me. And like most people were in their like 50s and 60s. And I'm just sitting there like how many times can I re-edit this? Like how many times can I be not sober and recut something? But the answer is a lot.
Infinite.
But here's the great thing. So, like, I sat with it, and a mentor of mine from college, I hadn't heard from him in a couple of years, and he sent me a message. He's like, Matt, you need to make a movie. It's like, well, funny thing, Oscar, I am. And I sent him the script, and he's like, this is great. You need to change the ending. And I hadn't shot the ending yet, and his
perfect
made the ending 100 times better. Yes. And it was. So having that time really helped the movie, but it also meant that I lost money and time, and but
they all go out the window.
Right?
Sure, yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So 100,000 on an iPhone. What was the reality of the situation?
The reality is, I met my wife, the producer. Hired an amazing DP, and I talked to the DP for like 3 seconds, and she said, "You're not going to shoot this on an iPhone." And I said, "Okay, you're the artist. I'm not going to shoot it. It's the one thing I don't know how to do." So the iPhone went out the window. Next thing is the apartment that we lived in, the house. We thought we were going to shoot the whole thing in our house. Our landlord kicks us out. We got to regroup, find a new place to live. Another year later, finally decide to rent the house, rent the location, and that $100,000, it goes very quickly, as you know. And we ended up, then COVID hits, and we have to shoot this thing in like 5 or 6 different segments, basically over the course of like a few years, right?
Yep.
So you know what that's like, wrangling all the people, the forces, and and again, so talk about your serendipity with making your ending better. It did give me more time to then look at the footage in between each shooting block and edit stuff together. I'm a writer at heart. I'll rewrite it right now if I can. There's always a way to make it better.
Yeah.
You have to kind of stop yourself at some point, right? And then what happened was the kid. A major plot point in the movie, as you guys know. And as a writer, I thought I need to cast this little kid because my character wants to get home and see his son walk for the first time. And I was like, Jesus, I can't fake any of that. That's going to have, that's basically my emotional spectacle. If that doesn't work, it's going to look stupid. It's like, but so we hired a kid, and for some reason, this kid's name was Davis, and I called him Daniel Davis Lewis because every take he did was so amazing. He was, they say don't shoot with kids. Every single take was so good, and yet he was born a preemie, so he couldn't quite walk. So like it took him time to get his legs to walk. So like all of that time for us to shoot him walking, he couldn't even walk. So we had to wait till the last shoot anyway. So like it all kind of worked out because the kid wasn't able to walk. We weren't able to shoot the movie, and like it all kept going. Oh my God, this is just serendipity of working. So again, at the end of the day, what is that? $100,000 becomes $300,000. Okay, we can grow. We all know.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, like after the groan, you go, okay. As a writer,
not much for a feature, but like it's
not bad though. I aimed for 100. I got 300. You know what I mean? It's containable.
No, it's it just the producer side of me is just like, well, yeah, it's got to happen, but
it's got to happen. It's painful, but hey, that's just the way it is, and you want people to get paid. Obviously, you're doing this work, and we love this work. It's a playground of all kinds of delight, but it's work, and so like. Yeah, we had a crew, and you have people, and you have you definitely paying my actors, so it's like it all adds up. We know it all adds up, and so and the food, we had to make sure we fed people and made sure we got the food right. So so I mean, Jesus Christ, $300,000 is nothing to write home about, but it's also not a bad low budget independent film.
No, not at all. Matt, I got a bunch of questions, but I'm not going to bogart it. Matt.
I want to talk about working with family. I love this, that you continue to work with your family. You've worked with your brother before. You talked about working with your now wife. What's that experience like? I mean, obviously you have a shorthand for certain things that you can do on set that people that you don't know necessarily have that. But there are going to be other tensions that you have to deal with and work around. So how is that working with family?
It's interesting. So like, I mean, me and my brother, I learned how to write screenplays with my brother. So, like that was just a natural shorthand of extensions of what we used to do when we were kids playing with Star Wars figures and G.I. Joe. Right. It's the same thing, basically. Yeah. And but it's interesting when your brothers, obviously, there's all this other emotional stuff going on, and we could just fight and argue forever,
Right.
So we had to make sure, especially on the set of, when we did Smiling Fish and Goat on Fire, we were both acting in it at the same time. So we got to act, and that was really fun. That was really, I was actually always impressed with my brother because, like, I could never tell if he was acting or not. I'm like, wow, he's good. He's like, so, it's interesting. But then in Lime Life, it became, we were doing an editing room together, and that's when things get really spicy, And when you're trying to discuss how an edit should go with your brother, the person who you can tell you're the biggest fucking asshole, son of a bitch, dumbass, like, you don't even know what you're talking about, you piece of shit. You say all these things to each other, and then it's like, I think it makes the work better in the end, but that doesn't quite translate when you start working with people who aren't your relations,
Right.
Yeah.
There's an okayness to hurt somebody's feelings that's family that not so much other people outside of the sphere.
Well, dude, I mean, as you know what the edit is like, it's like there was at one point on Lime Life, I had a cut that was like 105 minutes long, and I'm like, and we wrote the script, and that was our movie. And I'm like, there's nothing else I can do. Like, this is the movie. And then, we end up wrestling on the floor in the editing bay, because he's like, there's 10 minutes we can cut out. Distribution wants, 95 minutes. They don't want 5. So it's fascinating. And then with my wife, people told me, "Oh, dude, you're gonna work with your wife of all people." It's like, So everybody thought that could have gone either way. Like it could be really bad. You don't know. And there were times when she would give me notes. You know, I get notes on the script. She's going to give me a note on my script. No.
I used to run a media department, and for a year, my wife was our head photographer, and I was her boss. And this was right after we got married. And the fact that we made it through that is remarkable. But every time I do something now, like, she doesn't want to be on set. She's like, "No, that's your time. That's your place."
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah. My kids, they love working with me, and my wife had to be in 3 scenes in my movie, and she gladly did it, but she doesn't like acting, and she was perfect for it. But yeah, she doesn't like being there when I'm working because she knows I get into the zone, and then like I'm not spending time focused on her. You know,
Ain't got time for that nonsense.
And I will say, it wasn't. I don't have a brother, but I did get into a fight, and we had to get physically separated when I was editing a movie. Once.
See?
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, this director, I'm not going to say who or what it was, but we didn't know at the time that, this is the sad part, I got to be a Debbie Downer. We didn't know that he had a brain tumor, and that's why his behavior was so erratic. But
That'd be a reason.
Yeah, but it was a terrible situation. And it's one of those moments where we had been working on it like 12 hours a day for like weeks, and I hadn't slept in 3 days at this point, and he was just asking for stuff that was where he'd be like, "Use another take." It's like, this is the only take we have of this whole scene. We shot a wide, and that's literally all we have. We have another one. No, we don't. And like people had to like wrestle us apart. So yeah, things can get heated.
Especially editing is so like you just want to see it. Like you can see something in your head.
Yeah.
And if you don't have hands on the machine and you can't like execute it or display it, then it's just frustrating.
I'm surprised by someone who can direct a movie and I don't know if it's just because I've been an editor, like it's what I've done the most, but I'm very surprised by someone who can direct a movie and then not want to like sit down and physically cut it together. Because for me, that's where the magic is, you know.
I would extend the same thing to a writer. I'm like, I wrote this fucking script. Are you kidding me? This is like now we're making the scenes cook. What are you talking about? Like this is
exactly. Okay, so you independently made this film. Now you got it. It's finished. Now here's the hard part. Here's the hard part.
Now the real stuff
What do you do with it? How do you get people to watch it? Did you want to go festivals? Did you just want to bypass because this honestly, I've learned that part is as hard as making a film is. Everything after it's done is like a trillion times harder.
Yep, dude. It's like the. I don't know how it's like upside down world, you know. It's like what I thought that was the hard part, and now you're riding an ox backwards, going, wait a minute, you know,
great way to describe it.
Yeah, and you know, it's like you know, I came from the indie world, you know, in the '90s, right, and that was when the peak of Lucky independent cinema. I mean, after Major Payne came out, I had a few years of getting like good acting meetings and stuff, and then you know I was on a TV show, and then I started writing once I realized as an actor you have so little power or control over any of this, and you're putting your heart and soul and 150% out there, and you know, so I started writing. And then, you know, in '99, we made a film called Smiling Fish and Goat on Fire with my brother. That was our first film. And that was a totally different independent film landscape. You know, that was 99, 2000. You know, we got into the Toronto Film Festival. We won the Toronto Film Festival. You know, travel around the world with this little indie movie that had no reason. You know, it was just about brother. It was like the end of the Brothers McMullen phase. You guys remember that whole?
Oh yeah,
Adam Smith and you know.
They brought it back now. They're doing a new Brothers McMullen.
What?
Yeah. I'm sure it's on Netflix or somewhere, but they are doing a new one.
Wow. So anyway, so the indie world back then was very much like, you know, like they were putting money into these things, and then we got, distribution, and distribution actually put money into promoting the movie. Imagine that. They put a
that's a lie. That doesn't happen.
I know.
It's not happening anymore.
This mythical Shangri-La, but and then that movie, Smiling Fish and Goat on Fire, ended up opening. So again, like you're in the Laemmle theaters because you open up in 12 cities at the time, right? And you're like, and the right person in the right Laemmle sees it, and the guy who was at this theater one day owned a TV company, and he bought our movie as a TV pilot. He's like, I want to sell this as a show. And so that little movie that I made $50,000, right? Talk about and we shot it on Super 16, and it was like, it was like a dream. And then we sell it as a TV pilot. We have to break the story into a half an hour, and then we sold it again as an hour. So it's like that $50,000 investment ended up becoming this whole new world. Now I'm a TV writer, So it's like, oh wow, this is so interesting. This is this is super cool. And so that opened up for me a whole new avenue of within the business as a screenwriter, because back then there was so much more money being spent on development. As an actor, you're downstream from everything. Everything is downstream. You're jumping on a log that somebody else already, chopped down. But the real money is upstream, where they're chopping down the trees. That's all the writers writing all of these things nobody sees, but they're getting paid. And so I was fortunate enough to, be part of that whole world and see that. And, of course, the negative side of it is you just want to make your next indie movie, but you're kind of stuck writing all of these gigs, and and then you learn that inside the system, everything takes forever. Nothing's just, I'm going to go out and make my movie. It's like, so from that first movie, Smiling Fish, we decided to write it in 98, 99. We shot it in 99, and it comes out in 2000. That's within 6 months. Everything's like, holy shit, this is all working. The next film we did, Lime Life, took 8 years. 8 years to get made.
Wow.
So it's and that was doing all these writing jobs, and you think you're getting all these connections and all of these things, but then the more people come on board, the more it becomes like, oh wow, this is just a bigger beast, And so that takes a toll on you. You're like, holy shit, this shit takes so long. How am I going to do this? And so then it was really interesting to see that world. So after that 8 years, again, it's 2009 now, right? And now the indie film world is just changing even more. So it's like we hit the tail end of it was right before streaming. Honestly, it was right before the streaming wars. So I did this Lime Life. Came out in 2009, and it went to Sundance. We did all those things, but we just missed the streaming kind of thing. So it's like Lime Life came and went, and there was a window where oh, this movie's going to change my life, and then it doesn't. It's so proud of the movie. I love the movie. Very personal. Again, it's based on my childhood. I thought we hit we hit as much of a home run as we could with it. But then if nobody hears about it, nobody knows about it, and it doesn't make $1 bazillion, then basically nobody cares. So it's like, oh, okay, now this is the movie business, right? So then you just got to keep regrouping and finding another way to make something else.
And I'm sure that the industry is the same now that you've done a movie recently as it was back then, right? It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, right. So wait, now in 2025. All those festivals that I went to and won, they were not even now I have to even to submit to them on Film Freeway, I have to fill out all these boxes. I'm like, the boxes of my sexual orientation and my all these things, and you're like, well, okay, guys, remember me? I won there, and I'm a legacy, whatever. I won there in 2009, and no, they didn't really care who I was or that I was alumnus from the Sundance Labs and all that stuff. I was like, oh, cool, I'll come back to Sundance. And so I had my expectations were completely managed immediately by Film Freeway, by the behemoth.
Oh man, that I've got
machine.
One real brief story. I found out I had a friend who was actually a judge in a pretty decent festival. And the morning...
Are you talking about me at the Roswell Film Festival? I did that.
Dude, You got me to play in a theater. I
right.
appreciate it. You got me in a theater for an entire weekend. That's awesome.
That's right. Yeah.
No, it was another friend, another festival, and the day the announcements came out, my movie wasn't selected, and this person called me at like 5 a.m. their time, and they were like, I can't believe this. I have no idea what's going on. Like, they loved the movie. They said, okay, I've got to check to see what's going on. I'm going to text the other judges because we've got, a text chain going on. And long story short, this judge found out the other people didn't even watch it. And I'm like, if I had known that, I would have saved the money. I wouldn't even taken the time to do it.
That's what
it's an odd place right now.
That's a different world. Like, again, like my first 2 indie films, you definitely felt like you knew people watched it. And now this crazy trees falling in forests and nobody even, nobody knows what's going on. It's like,
no one does. So how did you end up with your distributor then?
Okay, so Bittersweet, we finished it, and just started making cold calls, and we went to AFM. We got a sales agent. We did the whole shebang, and you start talking to people, and it's just the whole landscape is completely different. It's like it was just really being in a whole other world and feeling like a lot of it felt like, well, now what do I do? I don't even know what to do. I have this thing here. And so, we just kept. You just have to keep your nose to the grindstone and not stop, basically. And so our LA has a lot of people where they say they know distributors, whatever. Some people you go down those rabbit holes forever, and you don't really get anywhere. And so, but everybody who saw the movie liked the movie, so we kept getting a good response for that. And then it's just a matter of, which snake are you going to crawl in a pit with?
Right. Okay, so I'm kind of a nerdy metrics person, and I'm not asking for straight numbers, but have you found that what is the best return for you? Is it like AVOD, or do you prefer it when someone like goes onto Apple and buys it or rents it? Because I don't get like straight numbers from my distributor, so like I don't know how many streams I'm getting on each site, except for the person, someone on YouTube place. They licensed it. So I can see how many that has, but like for Tubi and all these other places, if they're streaming, I have no idea. I just kind of have to guess. But if I see how much I'm getting through Apple or Amazon, I can kind of figure out, this many people have bought it, or
So they'll tell. So we went with so the company that we went with will tell us if we ask them. So
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, well, of course, you have to trust that what they're saying is true, right?
Sure.
And you have to
same with with like a Netflix or anything else. Like, what are those actual numbers? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then who's giving them the numbers from their, the other end? You're like, oh Jesus. So like, and we all know the old studios. Studio accounting is just studio accounting.
Hey, what are you talking about? Predator has 8 sequels, and officially the first one never made money.
What a dumb business. What a dumb business that we love so much.
Well, we didn't really get into it for the money, right?
Sure.
No,
that would have been the worst decision ever, if that's what we thought.
If that was the case,
so I guess to answer your question, is we still just started streaming, so like I'm still I don't know all the answers to that yet, so I don't know where the best place to get it is. Again, I don't. Yeah, with Tubi is AVOD, right? So that's like that's free, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we would just get the numbers of how many people saw it on Tubi.
Well, what I got was just like the money that I'm getting per month from each place. Like, and mine was I just went through Film Hub for mine. But
how did you like that?
Okay, so Film Hub changed a lot from when I first started. Because when I first went with Film Hub, it was 2022, and I had a personalized representative that I could, email, call, and just talk to. And then about a year after I was with them, apparently they had an explosion of people submitting. And that all went away. And now, like, you have to, like, pay for a higher tier if you want the personalized service.
Of course.
So, but my movie, I got on it with no stars at all. Got on to.
You're a star, buddy. You're a star.
Yeah, that episode of Superior Court from 1989. Everyone remembers it. So I got onto Tubi, which is still licensed, but for the last year it's not been up. But it's still licensed to them, which is weird. I got onto Amazon.
They just take it off whenever they want? Is that how that works?
It just says content unavailable, so I don't know if it's just our country or what, but it's still licensed through them.
Yeah,
I've got it on like Popsy through Plex, Stash Movies, but the coolest one was it hit Apple TV the same day that the Fablemans and the Whale did. So I remember I have a picture of it because I pulled up Apple TV on my Apple TV, and I went to my movie, and then right underneath it, it's like, if you like this, you'll like the Whale and the Fablemans. I'm like, first of all, me having a movie hit and being recommended with a Spielberg movie feels so wrong and dirty. Second, the Whale one really made me laugh because it's like, oh, so you like depressing fat boy movies? Okay, just watch these. But
Double feature that.
yeah, that's a feel good one right there. Yeah, my movie's not a happy movie. It is not a happy movie at all. So Film Hub, they haven't been bad to me or anything like that. They've gotten my movie out to, I know a few 100,000 people have seen it, so that's fantastic. If people go on to Walmart, they can buy the DVD on the website, which is cool. You can get it at libraries. So, and the fact that I was able to do that with I did like 90% of the stuff in the movie is stupid. How much I had to do on my own.
Jesus,
that was cool.
And it's not a happy ending, and it's a depressing movie.
It's a very sad movie. It's a very sad movie, and it gets real weird. It gets real weird.
How do you? I'm curious about that because when I I have a thing now. Maybe it's because I'm older now, but like with horror movies and things that are dark. Especially if it's like, if I have to take that shit on, it's not like the fun stuff it used to be like, I'm just going to be a bad guy.
Just do it.
It's like,
this is based on my life.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So this, the tagline is, a man travels to rural eastern Kentucky to deal with the unexpected death of his estranged father. Basically, my dad and I hadn't spoken for 5 years. He died in a hotel. We actually shot at the hotel where he died, and as weird as the movie gets, reality was 10 times weirder. It was such a bizarre series of events. And it's basically just me working through my issues with this person and how a person can be different people to different people, right?
Right. Yeah.
So like my dad was one way with me. He wasn't that way with his neighbors. Wasn't that way to, everyone has their own different reality of it.
Sure.
And for me, it was actually really cathartic to do it. The hardest part was knowing that, like, when people watch it, my wife, before it released, she's like, there's a lot of you in this. Because, like, I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it,
okay.
I star in it, I did the music. And
I'm right there with you, buddy.
And I did 220 out of 221 visual effects shots. And I color corrected it. And I had to color correct it twice because I bought a MacBook Pro for the movie. And about a year and a half into production, the battery was swelling, and I went to change it out because I had done on multiple computers before, and it ripped. And I don't know if you've seen a lithium-ion battery rip, but it starts a chemical fire, and my entire computer literally burned in my hands. And at that point, they had moved to the silicon chip, the Apple silicon chip. So that meant all of my plugins had to be reinstalled, and now they were different. And
Oh my God, it's so fucking
my film emulation was different, and I had to recolor correct.
done. See you later.
Entire
Done.
Yep.
The entire
We're done.
movie. But it was
Matt, do you
COVID,
want-
so I had time.
Do you want to tell Steven the written, directed, and starred in what we call those kind of movies around here, around these parts?
I don't know. What do we call them?
We call him pulling a Vincent Gallo. Woo!
No!
Still got
No!
him on the show today, yeah.
No.
Hey man, hey look, Buffalo '66 came out at a time when it was it definitely made us all go, oh wow, you can do that.
You
Yeah.
can do that. Yeah, that was
No,
the movie
this
that I
Matt
saw.
just has a-
I want to do that.
This man
Right?
is obsessed with Vincent Gallo.
Oh, that's dude. Like he got me into Cassavetes. I didn't, it was like watching that. I was like, oh, dude, this dude's doing Cassavetes. Like it's.
Yep.
Did you? What? I mean,
The
we
Brown
can't.
Bunny.
Oh, dude, come on, we can't even get into that.
But again, the written, directed, starred, does everything. You
Yeah.
know, takes his van on the road and shoots all that. And regardless of everything else that went around that movie that I loved, I just still can't imagine the sacrifices that he decided to make for that film. He always talked about losing his hair when he was editing it, and then you take it to Cannes, and then everybody just boos you. That is awful. That
But hey,
sounds
he
like
got
the
into
worst.
Cannes.
True.
He got
Right.
into Cannes. You know,
Right.
Me, I don't know about you. I did all those jobs because it was cheaper. Like I wasn't supposed to star in it, but a producer friend of mine convinced me to. He's like, "Well, you know how to act." I'm like, "Yeah, but like, I don't like to." But the person I wanted was kind of flaky, and the other people were way too expensive. So it's like, well, I'm going to have a weird schedule anyway, because I'm not going to be able to do it all in one sitting. Can't like block out 3 weeks. So,
I knew I wanted to act. I mean, I love acting, so I'm the opposite. For me, that's my thing. If I can act, I'll, like I want to act more. So like, I definitely knew I wanted to act in it. That was a little concerning when we went to Netflix. That's why it was like, oh, they're going to get somebody else to act in it.
Netflix wants to control things. What are you talking about?
Oh, Jesus. I was going to have people co-direct it. I offered my DP to co-direct it. I offered my wife. I had my friend come in and shadow me for a few days when the scenes were really hard. Like I didn't want to, and I had to really focus. And, but everybody was like, no, this is your movie. Nobody really wanted to co-direct it. And so it was interesting to, and then the music, I did it because I play music and it's cheaper to do it myself, but I also tend to, especially when I'm editing, music comes to me, like I feel the piece starts to talk to me. So like, I want to honor that and just kind of, do and put that in there. So that's natural. But it's to wear so many hats, man. It's not fun. And then the fucking color timing and all that shit, dude, that's insane.
No, thank you.
That's not writing. It's not writing.
Well, it's-
Thank you.
It's
Well,
not.
that's the stuff that I know. I mean, that's the stuff I normally get paid to do anyway. So, like, I was just going to do it. But, like, I like acting, but, like, I don't like directing myself because to me, I feel like I'm splitting my focus. And, like, and it sounds like that's kind of, especially in, like, the really emotional stuff, it sounds like, you didn't want to split your focus, but everyone was telling you, no, you need to.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's you have to, and my favorite part of directing is that 10 minutes of close-ups with the actor, and I'm on the other side of the camera, and I'm like, we're doing this, and then it's like that's what I'm there for. The rest of the day is insanity.
Yeah.
There was one moment where I had to get really emotional with the guy who's playing my dad, and he could tell that I couldn't keep my eye off the monitor. And I was too into the visual aspect.
The shot.
Yeah, and because I especially if you take a look at my movies and like any of my work, you'll see that I'm very strict with my framing, right? And I couldn't keep my eye off of it, and he could tell I wasn't emotionally in the scene.
Oh, you
So then he did something to pull me into the scene where he started ad-libbing as my dad, and he and I had many talks about who my dad was as a person, and he started saying stuff about my mom to get me emotionally invested, and I'm just like, wait, what? And we were rolling, and we got through the scene, and then afterwards I'm like, hey, TA, I get why you did that. I love you, but I need to get away from you right now because now I'm too into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now it became real.
Yeah. So how are you liking the response to this? I found out that Film Carnage gave our movies the same score, which is cool. And Rebecca, she is fantastic. So shout out to Film Carnage and Rebecca. How are you liking the response to Bittersweet?
It's really like I'm touched by it. You know, people who really it's like what I thought when I saw it when I was going through it in real life, and I saw that there's a lot of families going through this thing, and who have gone through it. It's like a weird like American rite of passage nobody talks about. You know, and so like I'm really touched that people are responding to it and they get it, and you know, especially the neurodivergence aspect of it too. There's people who are like, I'm like that. I don't know how to explain it to people. You know, it's like again, the only thing is like you want to be able to get to everybody, to more people. It's like I feel like it's like every one. It's like fishing. You get one fish, they love it. It's a big fish, great. Then it's like. In this world of industry and scale, it's like you just feel like I don't know how to make this, you know, compete with all these big giant movies that are getting all these, you know, like the press. It's basically PR, I guess. You know, like so to answer your question, I'm really happy with the response. I'm not happy with the lack of getting any kind of press or anything. You know, like we hired a publicist, which was like the biggest waste. You know, it's like they just take your money and if they can't do anything, they kind of blame you that you're not famous enough or whatever. You know, of
course.
Come on.
It's not them not doing their job, of course.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You would like, you know, you'd like people to like review it. Like I wish we'd get a New York Times review, you know, like back in the day, that would be something that was cool. And, you know, and I guess, again, the landscape has changed so much. I don't even know where do people go. Like there's no Ain't It Cool News for the movies anymore. Like, you know, badass
hot ones.
The hot ones.
Hot ones, that's where they go now.
Hot ones and TikTok. Yeah, like
TikTok.
Like even things that I consider to be newer, like, you know, Red Letter Media, even that's kind of like old guard now because they've been around for almost 20 years. Yeah.
Did they review movies? Can you send it to them and like?
They not really. Like they'll pick stuff that like they did one on Kyle Gallner. Like they reviewed like 3 of his movies and like, hey, we like the movies that this guy is in, and then all of a sudden like he got a huge boost, you know. But like they do their own thing. That's kind of what's beautiful about them. Is that they'll do their own thing, but
so they're not paid to play. They're not paid to play.
No, not at all.
Wow,
not at all. Yeah,
because a lot of it now is
festivals out there.
Oh my god! But also the influencers to talk about the movie. It's like it's the whole thing. It's like wow, this is like, you know, I get it. If nobody knows how to make money anymore, it's like, it's right. But
if we just brought DVD sales back, a lot of this stuff could fix itself. Like,
you know, I've been getting people on TikTok because I have a you know, fan base on TikTok from Major Payne because people love that movie there, and they've been telling me that I should, you know, like because I own the rights to the movie on DVDs and Bittersweet, and that I should just go to these fan cons and like sell my DVDs and sign them.
100%, 100%. No, 100%. You could probably clean up that way,
right?
No, for real, that is a fantastic idea. There are places where you can get your, like, I got Blu-ray. I did a very small Indiegogo just for part of a trip back just to cover like incidentals. And I said like, hey, if you kick in $20, I'll send you a Blu-ray. And I was able to. I made the Blu-ray myself. I authored it and everything, but I was able to get it replicated.
Did you put the label on it?
They did, but I designed the label and the cover and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. But that Blu-ray shipped as is, like finished. I think it was like $10 per unit, and that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So you sell that for $25, and then say, hey, you know, $35 with an autograph or whatever you want to put on it. You know,
right?
Then it's extra. You know.
Yeah. What's your autograph going for nowadays?
Well, I heard you do 20. You start with $25, and then you kind of.
Okay.
No, well, hey, some of these cons, man. You know, like that's kind of what a lot of these cons have turned into. You know, it's not really like conventions for stuff. It's, you know, meet celebrities and, you know, ask the star of Beastmaster to sign a headshot, and it's
I've been told I should print out some Major Payne stills and just sign them and go to these things. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, honestly, do it.
Yeah.
You know, like you could bring in a lot that way. And,
Right.
So question, what are you working on next?
Well, funny you should ask. So, you know, as a writer, I am always writing things. I'm always trying to keep my, you know, keep having something ready to, you know, as a filmmaker, you need to have a script ready to go in your back pocket.
Always.
Right? Yes.
Always
Trying to find that. And so, you know, I found a couple of scripts from a couple of other writers actually recently. There's a writer on Twitter that I met who she gave me the best notes ever, and I love her script and her voice, and it's so funny. And there's one of these scripts that she wrote that I'm just like, I want to make this movie. You know, like, it's that feeling when you're like, oh my God, I didn't have to write this. Thank God. I wish I wrote it. I didn't have to go through the pain of writing it. I want to see this thing go through. So there's that I'm like, you know, looking at now and trying, you know, anytime you try and make a movie, it's like you got to marshal all the forces, and you're really better off having more than one ready to go, you know?
Oh yeah.
And on that front, finally I was able to figure out, everybody's been asking me what my character in Major Payne has been up to all these years later. And, you know, we're having all these legacy sequels and all these things coming out. And so
Sure.
I finally had an idea. I finally got something that I thought, you know what, I can crack this and craft it in a way where you can see what Alex Stone has been up to and where he is today. And so I'm like 60, 70 pages into that. And I'm like, it's like feeling really good bringing back Alex Stone. And it's almost like, you know, the Cobra Kai legacy thing was very inspiring to seeing how they did that. And so I'm really, really excited about it, actually, because
I can't wait I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, dude. It's yeah. So I feel like people want it, and I want to give it to people. And so there's the thing with Major Payne is that it's based on an old movie, and Universal has the rights. It was an old Charlton Heston movie, but they don't have the name Alex Stone. They don't have like that kind of. So like I can do something that's similar, you know, like about a soldier returning home from, you know, his career and reminiscing about his, you know, childhood and all that stuff. Like that all works as just a basic archetype. And then if you fill in the characters, Stone and, you know, that stuff, it can still work and not be against any kind of copyright, you know.
Unofficial legacy sequel. I love it.
Exactly. Like nobody else is going to do it, and I'm going to do it my way. You know, I'm not going to do it the big studio way unless anybody wants to get involved, but I'm going to do it my way. Because you can't really compete with that classic in my eyes, so I'm not going to do it the way they did it. I'm going to.
They don't put money into movies like that anymore anyway.
No,
it would go to streaming, so why not just make it yourself for streaming? Because unfortunately, the last comedy that came out that had a lot of money behind it, you know, didn't do so hot, and that's probably going to be it for a while.
It almost back the exact money that it spent.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was there for it. I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. Go watch that again. Naked Gun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
all right, before we get you out of here, first of all, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, we kept you so long. We're so sorry.
Giving us your time.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? I don't know.
I personally love to always know what somebody is watching, what they have recently watched that they enjoyed, and then something that they're looking forward to. So since I'm just throwing that out to you now, I'm going to start with Matt. We always do this at the end of the episode. He'll give you something he's watched recently and he loved, and something he's looking forward to. So Matt, take it away.
I took my 16-year-old daughter to go watch one battle after another in 70mm IMAX. And I saw Magnolia opening night when I was 17.
Oh,
and 13 minutes in, I was like, oh, movies can do this? What?
Yep.
I thought I was going to have a fun movie like Boogie Nights, and now my mind's been blown.
Right.
And my friend texted me like as I was leaving the door saying, have you seen it yet? I'm like, no, but I'm taking my daughter. And he goes, oh, this is perfect. It's a father-daughter movie. I'm like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. It was one of the best screenings I've seen in so long. It's my favorite PTA movie since The Master, probably more so than The Master. I loved that movie so much. And if you can see it on a big screen, see it on the biggest screen you can. There's one specific shot. Have you seen it, Steven?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know the shot I'm talking about? Like, there's on the road with that, like, super long lens. 70 millimeter IMAX, when it goes over the hill, my daughter and I looked at each other and just went, like, it felt like the world just bottomed out. I want to see it again. If I could go see it, I got too much work to do today. But
I just wanted to see Leo pop up. You just wanted to see him. You just wanted that. Like, he just didn't give it to you, and you're like, oh, come on, why is he doing that?
Well, when you're following the charger.
Yeah.
And it goes down, and then the camera kind of comes up, and you're like, oh, well, there's going to be the car in the background. And then the charger just comes up bigger into frame. Like, oh, my God. Like, it's a masterful use of the format. It's perfection. And what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to watching one battle after another again.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And by the way, if there's any doubt that this movie is not just going to walk away with Best Director and Best Picture and, like, probably adapted screenplay, like, it feels like it's like his time because he didn't get it for There Will Be Blood, and it's like if he doesn't win for this, he's never going to win ever. Like, that's just how it works.
I liked it better than There Will Be Blood. I personally.
Really?
The ending.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to be upset when it doesn't win all the awards because one of the greatest American directors going has a movie coming out. But I'll talk about that in a second because I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to swear by it. I'm going to say watch Roof Man, Channing Tatum's new movie, because
It's C-Tape.
this is what I'll say. Channing Tatum is beautiful. He is a little bit naked in this movie. Here's my review. My review is I went to watch it on Monday mystery movie night. No idea what I was watching. And one battle after another was right next door. I said, if this movie doesn't catch me in 15 minutes, I'm going next door. I'm going to watch Leo again. I sat there the whole time. I loved it. It was so much fun. It's different than kind of what I thought it was going to be. It's more about him hiding out than the actual story of him robbing all the McDonald's. So I thought that was really good. Roof Man, enjoyed. Here's what I'm going to tell you now. Everybody, stop what you're doing and understand. Kelly Reichardt is a god. Not just one of the best female American directors going, one of the best directors going. She has a new movie coming called The Mastermind, and I cannot wait. I'm going to give you the synopsis, which is a line. Oops, if I hit the right button here. About what this movie is about. Doesn't matter. It's still going to be glorious. In 1970, Mooney and two cohorts wander into a museum in broad daylight and steal 4 paintings. When holding on to the art proves more difficult than stealing them, Mooney is relegated to life on the run. I don't know how you don't sign up for that. It's going to be fantastic. Kelly Reichardt is God. She's going to win something this year. This movie is going to win something this year. Josh O'Connor is going to be your best actor. That's what I'm saying. Boom, put the stamp on it right now. The Mastermind. Also, before I let it over to Steven to finish it out here, The Family McMullen is the new Brothers McMullen movie. I wasn't just making that up. It's coming out this year in theaters. I'm done now. Steven, finish this out. Tell us, what have you seen and what do you want to see, please?
You know, I obviously saw one battle after another, and you know, like I really loved the characters. I love the ending of it specifically. I was like, oh wow, this is really something. I personally felt like I wanted to spend more time with those main characters, less with like this weird non-Mission Impossible team people that were like, I didn't really care. Yeah, I didn't. And if we're gonna get into it, like, you know, he gave a side character the sort of hard dilemma choice at the end to rat out the other people, and I was really like, oh, I kind of wanted to have Leo have a choice, you know, like I was kind of like, oh, okay, you know, but whatever. Those are all just like my own personal.
Leo did not feel like the star of this. Like,
Yeah.
halfway through, I'm like, I think this is Sean Penn's movie.
Yeah, and I felt like I actually wanted that. I wanted to spend time with the characters, which to me is only a good thing, you know. So that was the last film I saw. But God, you know, like I've been at home watching, you does this count in this conversation to say I'm watching
Anything counts.
HBO streaming?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so those Apple TV shows like Foundation. Have you watched that show? Oh,
I've started it. Yeah. I've got I'm in the middle of doing this thing we call Mattoween, where I do a quick little review on our TikTok and Facebook every day of a horror movie for the month of October, and it kind of breaks my brain. So I'm really only watching horror this month, and
gotcha.
And I hate myself for it.
Gotcha. You're on I got to look at that on TikTok.
Yeah, Matt Movies Pod, I believe, right?
And wait, so I guess I want to say recently. So I started watching The Peacemaker.
Yes. Love
it.
Peacemaker.
And then that got me into I was watching it, but then sometimes the music just is too much for me. I'm like, what's going on with this? And then it got me into watching The Penguin.
Oh, that one is fantastic.
It's incredible. The Penguin, Colin Farrell. Oh. And again, he turns on his car and Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 comes on. And it's the Penguin. And that's the kind of music cues for me that work. The Peacemaker music stuff was just way too much for me. I'm just okay, guys, I wanted to get into the character stuff, but whatever. We all love this stuff, and that's just my own little idiosyncrasies. But to me, the Penguin is I can't wait to finish that. And I can't wait to see the new movie where he plays the Penguin in the Batman 2, whatever the Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Coming 2020 something.
You know what? If it's as good as the first one, then take as much time as you want. And the only thing I didn't like about that last Matt Reeves Batman is the fact that it made me mad at every other Batman movie, thinking we could have had something that looked this good the whole time. It's one of the best looking movies I've ever seen. And
I know.
Man, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I think that we've found the end of the episode. Madman Movies Podcast on all your streaming services, whatever.
So whose favorite pod is this? You always give us one of those.
Most importantly, this is Tom Waits' 33rd favorite podcast.
33rd?
34. So it's not 33 and it's not 34. It's 34. It's in between. And he only listens to it when the chickens are crowing at midnight. I'm just saying.
That's the most Tom Waits thing he could do. Yeah.
What's he building in there? Who knows? We may never know.
Chocolate Jesus.
At midnight.
Yeah, we got a Tom Waits on the way out. I don't think there's anything left to say. That is it. That was fantastic.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This was fun.